Good morning and welcome to News in Motion. I am Deborah Johnson and I am sitting in for Gail Dudley today. Our News in Motion family is joining us on Facebook Live, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So everyone come on in the room. Good morning, News in Motion family. Glad to have everyone here. It is a wonderful day, real wonderful day. So come on in the room. We're excited about the show today, and we can't wait. I can't wait until you see our special guest today. So please come on in the room. And as you're coming in the room, make sure you hit that share button. Hey, good morning, Deborah Sneed. My sister, Deborah, the same Deborah with the same spelling. It's good to see you this morning. Come on in the room. We've got a great audience, a great guest today for our audience. And so we want to make sure that you share. Hit the share button today. It's real important because some really important information is coming through today. Good morning, Annette Jackson. It's good to see you this morning. It's good to be here. Hey, good morning, John Gore, my brother. Hello, how are you this morning? Kim Edmondson, good morning. Good morning, Mary Owens. So good to see you this morning. We have got a great show today, and I cannot wait to get started. My sister called me out yesterday to see if I was here, and guess what? I'm glad to be here. Good morning, my sister Cheryl. Good to have you here this morning. Oh my God, Davia William Stevenson. Good morning this morning. Guys, today is the summer solstice 2022, which means it's the longest day of the year. The first day of the summer and the longest day of the year. Good morning, Adrian. I just want to know, what are you going to do with this 15 hours of daylight we have today? Put it in the chat. What are you going to do with this long day? Good morning, Diane Ladybug. It's so good to see you. Good morning. Good morning, Antoinette. Gatewood Sykes, it's so good to see you this morning. We got a lot going on, a lot of news. We got a special guest. It's going on News in Motion, and I'm excited about it. We're celebrating a lot of things today, one being the summer solstice, but also we're on the eve of the anniversary of News in Motion. We have been doing this thing for 2 years, and it's so exciting. Just so exciting to see the trajectory of the program. Good morning, Kim Edmondson. It's good to have you here. It's a lot going on. We have a lot of news going on. And so I'm looking forward to diving into a number of things this morning. It's also going to be really, really, really beautiful today. I think it's going to top out around 82 degrees, but look out. Summer has begun and it's going to be 92 tomorrow. So enjoy this day today. Hey, good morning, Lori Wallace. It's good to have you here this morning. It's anniversary week, okay? It's anniversary week. I'm just asking everyone, if you've tuned in one time or you've tuned in every week since 2 years ago, let's flood News in Motion's timelines with congratulations to our sister, Gail Dudley. She has done the thing. She has launched out with her vision, done the thing that she had on her heart, and it's blessed all of us. So let's now flood the timelines for her. Let her know how we feel. Let her know how it's impacted you and how having News in Motion has changed your life. So let's do that. She's taken this amazing broadcast from a short broadcast to 5 days a week to back down to 4, and then packed the week with amazing content and inspirational messages. You know, yesterday she talked about getting unstuck and getting a strategy for her vision, and us getting a strategy for our vision. And now she's a living example of what happens when you take a chance on your dreams. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today. So I ask you to hit the share button, invite a friend to tune in today. Hey, Kim Knight, it's so good to see you. We have a wonderful guest who will tell us about a little known law that allows for Christian education in public schools throughout Ohio and other states. You don't want to miss this. So we have a lot going on. So let's get this show started. Well, I don't know if you didn't figure it out. I mean, there was all the advertisement about Juneteenth, but for some people, they didn't connect the dots and realize we didn't get mail yesterday. We have a serious federal holiday added to the books. We've gone from 10 federal holidays up to 11. It was a gorgeous day to be out and about. And I just want to know, how did you spend your Juneteenth holiday, our first federal holiday? So let us know how you did that. Good morning, Kenny Stanley. How are you doing, my brother? It's good to have you here today. Shardenia, it's good to see you here today. I want you to know that if you're counting your trash days, it was a federal holiday. If it was supposed to be picked up tomorrow, it's not going to be picked up until day after tomorrow. So you need to make the adjustment. Good morning, Marion Jackson and Rosanna Bivens. So we have a lot of things going on today. Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger warned of violence in the future after he said he received a mailed threat against him and his family. Now, we're not going to share that today because it's just a little bit too graphic. But Kinzinger made the comments Sunday on This Week on ABC News while discussing his work on the committee investigating January 6, 2021. His position as one of only 2 Republicans on the committee has subjected him to threats, he said. This threat came in and it was mailed to my house. We got it a couple of days ago, and it threatens to execute me as well as my wife and 5-month-old child. We've never seen or had anything like that. It was sent from the local area, Kinzinger said, who represents Illinois' 16th congressional district. He added that he's not worried about his personal safety, but concerned about his family. I don't worry, but now I have a wife and kids, and of course, it's a little different, Kinzinger said. There's violence in the future. I'm going to tell you. And until we get a grip on telling people the truth, we can't expect any differently. The actual letter is pretty graphic and can be found on his Twitter account for anyone who's curious about the details. Have we come to that? Threatening people's lives, threatening their families? It's kind of tough to hear. For all of you who haven't been keeping up, today at 1 p.m., those January 6th committee hearings will continue. On another sad note, the AP has let us know now that witnesses in Ethiopia said Sunday that more than 200 people, mostly ethnic Amhara, have been killed in an attack in the region of Oromia region and are blaming a rebel group which denies it. So this is coming out of Nairobi, Kenya, and this is telling us all about what's going on in Ethiopia. It is one of the deadliest such attacks in recent memory as ethnic tensions continue in Africa's most populous country. I have counted 230 bodies. I'm afraid this is the deadliest attack against civilians we have seen in our lifetime. Abdul Sayed Tayer, a resident of Gimbi County, told the Associated Press after barely escaping the attack on Saturday. We are burying them in mass graves, and we are still collecting bodies. Federal Army units have now arrived, but we fear the attacks could continue if they leave. The government-appointed Ethiopian Human Rights Commission on Sunday called on the federal government to find a lasting solution to the killings of civilians and protect them from such attack. I just can't even imagine. We're just hearing too much on domestically on the home front and all around the world. We really got to pray, guys. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that we have to, get behind, write letters of support to countries that need the support. Just pray for a change, really, seriously. We need to pray for a change. It's just too much. It seems like every day we're hearing about these attacks, and it's a lot. I don't know if you've been to the pumps lately, but yesterday I filled up my vehicle. Wait for it. The gas was $4.86 a gallon, and the pump stopped at $104.39. I'm still trying to get my mind around that. $104.39. I got 2 bikes in my garage, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to start biking for where I have to go. I'm starting to have to figure out how I'm going to do my trips. CNN reports that President Joe Biden said Monday he hopes to decide soon whether to support a temporary pause in the federal gasoline tax and is nearing a decision on student loan relief as he looks to ease the burden of high prices on Americans. I hope to have a decision based on the data, and I'm looking for it for by the end of the week, Biden told reporters, the seaside in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. When asked whether he was considering backing a gas tax, such a pause in the 18.3 cents per gallon federal tax would require Congress to act. And there has been little traction among lawmakers on the idea so far. But the administration is eager to find eager to find areas of relief for Americans consumers contending with skyrocketing gas prices as the summer begins. The nationwide average for gas was just under $5 a gallon. So would the 18 cents gas tax relief help you? Is that something you're looking forward to? Will 18 cents be enough, or do we need to do something else? Let us know in the chat if the 18 cents is a step in the right direction, or should we be backing something else? You know, Biden also said he's weighing whether to send back Americans gas rebate cards. That's part of what we're considering, he says. That's part of the whole operation. He said major oil and gas CEOs would be meeting with members of his administration this week to discuss prices. So I can get an explanation of how they justify making $35 billion. That's right, $billion, $35 billion in the first quarter. So CEOs of gas companies have made $35 billion, and we're putting a whole week's wage for some people in our gas tank just to get to work. That's right, Tracy. Maybe it should be something else. But Kenny, I hear you. Any little bit will help. Any little bit to help us to do that and get it in the right direction. I see what you're saying. Well, check this out. A lucky and likely wealthy person bid more than $19 million, $19 million to dine with Warren Buffett in the 21st and final time that the billionaire businessman auctioned a private lunch to benefit a San Francisco charity. $19 million just to have lunch with him. The winning bid in the eBay auction that ended on Friday night far surpassed the previous record of $4.57 million paid in 2019 by cryptocurrency entrepreneur Justin Sun. Although the new winner's identity could not immediately be determined, proceeds benefit Glide, a nonprofit in San Francisco's Tenderloin district that helps the poor, homeless, or those battling substance abuse. Glide offers meals, shelter, HIV and hepatitis C tests, job training, and children's programs. Buffett, 91, the chairman and chief executive of Berkshire Hathaway, has raised more than $53.2 million for Glide in the 21 auctions, which began in 2000. By the way, Warren Buffett, if you're listening, Gail would just like 5 minutes of you. She doesn't have $91 million to spend on it or $19 million, but just 5 minutes. How much would it cost for 5 minutes? In another front, in Bangkok, Thailand, the Associated Press reports the world's largest recorded freshwater fish. This is a giant stingray has been caught in the Mekong River in Cambodia. And according to scientists from the Southeast Asian nation and the United States, the stingray captured on June 13th measured almost 4 meters, that's 13 feet, from snout to tail, and weighed slightly under 300 kilograms, which is 660 pounds. According to a statement Monday by Wonders of Mekong, a joint Cambodia-U.S. research project, the previous record for a freshwater fish was 646 pounds. The Mekong giant catfish was discovered in Thailand in 2005. This stingray has been something that this scientist, Zeb Hogan, has been looking for 17 years. For 17 years, he's been looking for this stingray. And as a biologist, he has been with this team in Cambodia for a while. So this is a really big win for this conservation team. I just tell you what, I've seen little stingrays. I've gone to the zoo where you can check them out. I don't want to happen upon a 650 pound or 667-pound stingray. Wait a minute. Let's see what Cheryl Owens is saying. She says in India, there is a war on Muslims. The local government just shows up with a bulldozer and tears down their houses. No notice. They claim the homes are illegal, but they are constructed just like the rest of the buildings and are often attached. There were peaceful protests until people started disappearing. Now that needs prayer. So guys, there's just not enough prayer to go around. Okay. We just need to continue to pray about the things that are going on in the world. But on a very, very lighter note, there's a fun fact for the day, and that is today in history in 1997, the WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association, launched their first game and had their first league play. This is also the week that commemorates 50 years since Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 was enacted into law. Title IX prohibits federally funded education institutions from discriminating against students or employees based on sex. This opened up the floodgates for female athletes to really come out on the scene and do their thing. That's right, WNBA in the house. We're so excited about that. I'm grateful to know a couple of those WNBA coaches, Daniel LaForce and Katie Smith, our own Katie Smith of The Ohio State University. We're excited to know that they're out there making moves and doing some wonderful things. That's the news for today, but I was setting aside enough time so we could have the interview next with a dear friend of mine. I've known Vincent Coleman. Oh my goodness. It's over 30 years now. I want to say it's been about 30 years, if not longer. I didn't realize it was that long. I was telling Gail, this young man, and in my mind, he was still in his 20s until I found out that he's been married for 33 years. I suspect he's not in his 20s anymore, but he's doing some wonderful things for young people. Elder Vincent Coleman has been a member of New Birth Christian Ministries for over 15 years. He has worked in public school education for over 28 years, having been a teacher and principal in Columbus City Schools, as well as program director with Communities and Schools of Ohio. Vincent is currently working in full-time ministry for LifeWise Academy as the Central Ohio field representative. LifeWise Academy is a released-timed religious instruction program which provides Bible-based character education to public school students during the school day. Vincent has been committed to his wife, Angela Coleman, for those 33 years, and they have 2 children. And what, Vincent, really? 4 grandchildren. Where have I been all this time? Come on into the studio, Vincent. We can't wait to talk to you today.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh my gosh, good 4 grandchildren, Vincent?
Yeah, number 4 came on June 8th.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I can still see you at the Village to Child program when you were making a difference for the young people in this 43219 zip code, working out of Ohio Dominican University. And I could see your passion then for making a difference. And when you would walk into the room, young people would listen. You just had that touch, that compassion. You just something about you. You were made to work with young people.
Praise
but
God.
Tell us about this. Tell us about what is time released religious instruction, and how is that legal when there's a separation of church and state? How does that work?
I'm glad you asked. Man, it's an honor. And like you said, it has been over 30 years since, Village to Child program. But I heard about release time religious instruction in 2020 at the end of the pandemic. I was at a presentation and Joel Penn, our executive director, asked the question, have you ever heard of release time religious instruction? I'm sitting there and he goes on to talk about how it's legally possible to teach children uh, the Bible during the school day, so long as you have off-site facilities, parents sign off on it, and it's not publicly funded. And so, if those three things are in place, then we can have these types of programs. So I sat up in my seat, and then they said they made the pitch that they were looking to launch programs in Central Ohio. I got really excited and went home and got permission from my wife and was able to make the leap into full-time ministry with LifeWise.
I love that. Got permission from your wife. You guys work as a team. That's how you've been married for 33
Right.
years, working together, making sure.
Happy wife, happy life.
Oh gosh, yes. So wait a minute. What's the organizational goal of LifeWise Academy? How does that work? What's your real focus?
So LifeWise, in and of itself, started in 2018, and the goal, our mission, is to reach unchurched public school students with the gospel.
Okay.
In 2018, we had just got started with one program combined with a program from Van Wert, and we're looking to establish a model, a replicable model that we could use across the state at that particular time. So we were thinking 25 schools by 2025,
Mhm.
nice and catchy. And through the pandemic, it kind of slowed things down a little bit. So
Okay.
we just kept grinding, kept getting the word out. And when we came out of the pandemic, we found ourselves in 27 different school districts in 34 schools.
Oh my God.
So we determined that, hey, it may be possible to launch 1,000 schools by school year 2026. So our goal over the next 5 years has been to launch 1,000 programs across the country. Release time is possible because the Supreme Court ruled on it in 1952.
Mhm.
And that was mind boggling when I first heard of it, because I was always
Gee.
one separation of church and state. And to know that we've always had this possibility to do that, it just was all the more reason. It's all the more reasons to push and try to make this happen for our babies.
Man, so it's been on the books a really long time.
A
I thought
really
this
long
was
time.
something new.
Yeah, a
So
really
wait,
long time.
so what progress are you making in Central Ohio? I know that you're coordinating efforts in Central Ohio. So what progress are you making?
So the national goal is 1,000 schools. I like 270. So
Yes.
I'm thinking that between all the surrounding districts and Columbus City schools, there
Yeah.
are over 300 schools within this community,
Yeah.
and I'd just like to see about 270 of them at least have a LifeWise program. I was recently at the end of the year program in one of our schools in Whitehall.
Yeah.
And there was a third grader, as they were excited about talking about them coming back for next year.
Yeah.
This young lady said that, she said to the teacher, I'm sorry I won't be able to come back next year because we're moving. But she said, I want you to know this: I won't stop learning about Jesus.
Hmm.
And I kind of teared up, and I was like, well, where are you going? Because I got to figure out where can we get a LifeWise program there. So I would love it
Hmm.
that if every school, no matter where a kid goes to, they have the option to be able to do LifeWise.
I love it. Well, Marion Jackson is saying that's a school program that's needed in Northeast Ohio. I'm originally from Northeast Ohio. I know that's the case. Also, Latricia Thurston Hall says, please come to Warren, Ohio. And I don't want you to miss that. Diane Ladybug says, awesome program at ODC. My kids did Village to Child. I think that's fabulous. I
Yep.
was the board chair for Village to Child for 10 years and loved it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on here. Can you tell me just why you're so passionate about this ministry?
Yeah, for me, I didn't grow up in church as a kid. My
Mm,
mom, she always told us about God, but it really didn't stick. But I had good friends, and I heard you say Kim Miller, Edmondson is on the call. We went to
yeah,
high school together. But I had friends, in high school that they would always talk about God, but I didn't know what it was like to have a relationship. And in
yeah.
my mind, I just think about, how many young people would love to learn about God, but just don't have those opportunities. And I can't remember, there were efforts to reach young people, but I can't remember anything really organized to
Mm,
really engage me on that level. And I just always think about, what
mm,
if I'd have learned about, what if I'd have accepted Jesus Christ in my life
mm.
as a teenager or as a
Yeah,
young person? how might life have been different?
Mm.
How might I made some different decisions? Not
Yeah.
that I regret anything that I've done, but man, I just know what life has been with Christ. And to
Yes.
know that, hey, there were 20 some years that I missed out on.
Yeah.
Man, if I could get those years back, it would be awesome. So here we have this opportunity to share
Mhm.
the gospel with our young people and really kind of plant those seeds. And
Yeah.
I'm so focused, so passionate about the seeds that we plant. One thing that the Lord has really kind of showed me as an educator, sometimes you don't know. You want to see instant change when you're working with young people, and it's not
Yeah.
always that case.
That's
But
right.
time and time again, I've seen young people, a Jiza Page, who's now a judge,
Mm.
or I've
Yeah.
seen, young people who are now pastors or working in management and different types of things. And these were the kids that, sometimes you look at them, it's like, I'm telling you these lessons, but now to
Right.
see them and them to share the memories of what was sown into them is
Yeah.
so invaluable. So my passion is to just get the seeds out, just plant the seeds, just water seeds and watch God give the increase. Expect God to give the increase. So we talk about prayer. When we
Yeah.
send prayers out there, we're sending prayers with an expectation that God is going to answer.
I love that. I just got to ask you one more thing. As you're talking about getting the prayers out there, as you're talking about the fact that your life was changed by finding out who God was, and you made different decisions once you knew that. It's been horrific for anybody who's listening, for our country, to watch one after the other mass school shooting,
Hmm.
kids making poor decisions,
Hmm.
things happening in schools that we just never have not seen before. How do you think LifeWise academies and education and bringing this curriculum to school children could stem that tide and turn things around?
That's a great question.
Mhm.
And I would be remiss if I didn't tell people you can go onto our site, lifewiseacademy.org. There's a Find Your School, and you can register. If you have interest in seeing LifeWise in your community, you can go on there, sign up on the community interest list, and that gets us in there. But to your question,
Yeah,
um, our young people are hurting.
yeah,
They're struggling. One, they're not being heard on a wide scale.
yeah,
They're struggling with identity. They're struggling with just their why, their mission, their purpose, their passion,
yeah,
broken relationships. And I think what LifeWise brings to the table is organized effort to mobilize churches,
mhm,
to be, to offer the solution that we have. The
yeah,
solution is Christ. The solution is letting people know that you are loved, you are valued. God created you with a purpose. There is a reason why you are here, no matter what you've gone through. There are people that love you. And so,
mhm,
one of the things that really kind of intrigues me is this opportunity for the church to
yeah,
take our mission and the role that God has placed upon our in our laps, and to really mobilize and go and be what God has called us to be. We
yeah,
have so many different programs, and this is an opportunity for us to uh, really engage young people. And one of the things that we see on the backside of LifeWise is now that our young people are getting engaged, we're seeing families start to return back into churches and in relationship with God. And so there's this whole component of just really being able to engage our kids on a heart level. And
yes.
no other organization, no other institution can do that like the church when we step into what God has called us to do.
I love it. Cheryl Owens is asking, is this an after school program? And if not, how do you get it in the classroom? Are you getting into the classroom? Are you creating a classroom? How does that work?
Thank you so much, Cheryl. No, this is during the school day. So the law says that we have to set up facilities that are off-site, that are not publicly funded, and parents sign off for their kids to participate. So we partner with churches that are in close proximity to to the schools. So some of our kids may be within walking distance. They might walk out of the back parking lot and into the church facility. Some might require a short bus ride. So we do have costs that we try to help the communities to raise. We're actively going after funds for transportation because, again, we don't want any of our kids not to have this opportunity simply because we don't have transportation to be able to have them to do this. So by setting those sites up off site, it
Yeah.
makes it legally possible for us to do. We can't do it in the school, but we can
Right.
do it, and we coordinate the schedule with the administration at a different school. So our kids, if they're in a 45-minute class, then we can have them for 45 minutes for a LifeWise class, and it's phenomenal. Our kids are learning the Bible from Genesis through Revelations. Every lesson has a
Wow.
character component, and they're putting those character traits into action.
That's wonderful. I know we're running out of time, but tell us, how do we help? Where can we reach out? How do we connect with LifeWise if we're saying this touches my heart? I want to help. What do we do?
Okay, a couple different ways. My personal email is vincent@lifewiseacademy.org. Then also on our website, if you go onto our website, again, it's a way that you can find your school, register to say, I want to see this happen in my community. We got a goal for 1,000 schools. And so these opportunities for people to hear and say, hey, that's going to happen here, that puts you on our radar, and we'll be in touch as far as contact. We also need support, so there are ways to donate, especially in our inner city programs. A lot of times we have churches that are willing to step up, but sometimes the funding and the resources, we have to be really kind of engaging as far as getting the funds to make sure that they can do this. And God forbid that any of our kids don't have the opportunity to learn the gospel simply because we can't pay for it. And I know there's enough resources within our community, within our city, to be able to kind of help offset some of the costs that are associated with that.
Let me just ask you one other question. Like, what ages? Is it just little people? Is it high school? How does that work?
We have a we basically can reach kindergarten through 12th grade.
Okay.
Our first initial program started in elementary school and has added on a year for that group. And so this upcoming year, we're piloting some high school opportunities. We have a partnership with Ohio Christian University, where our students can get dual credit. They can get a high
Okay.
school credit as an elective and a college credit, for taking a LifeWise class. So basically, K through 12. We have middle school programs here in Columbus. We have elementary programs. We like to start elementary and just kind of work them all the way through, but we can do middle and high school as well.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much. There's been so much interaction over what you're doing in our chat. If you get a chance, check the chat for News in Motion. If you could engage with some of the folks who are asking lots of questions,
Okay.
I think this is fabulous.
Okay.
Absolutely fabulous what you're doing. I know that we'll be hearing about it 1,000 schools by 2026.
Exactly. And so just so you know that we're on track, this upcoming school year, we're already going to be in over 100 schools across in Ohio, Iowa, Indiana, and I think we're looking at Kansas as another opportunity. We have conversations in Florida, Texas, Georgia. So we're kind of hitting that going across the country mode. So, yep.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you being on today. I look forward to hearing more about it. 33 years married. I'm still trying to get my head around that. I love what you're doing. I love that God has taken you and elevated you to a place where you're doing serious kingdom work and planting in the vineyard of our children. We are really appreciating that. So thank you so much,
To
Vincent.
God be the glory. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's
Thank
a
you.
blessing.
All right.
It's a blessing. Wow. That was a lot, which takes us right to our inspirational message. Before I get there, though, just be thinking about our sister Gail Dudley today as she is inspiring. I think it's 200 first graders this morning, right now. So lift her up in prayer. 200 first graders, all of that energy. I know she's up for it, but absolutely, we're thinking about you as you're out there making a difference in our community. But today's message is simply this: launch. Launch. Yesterday, Gail encouraged us to get unstuck and getting a strategy for our vision. She is a living example of what happens when you take a chance on your dream. She has created a community, a serious news in motion family. And when she got unstuck and strategized and lost her and launched her vision, this is what happens. This is what can happen right here. We've watched it over 2 years of what happens when we launch. Yourdictionary.com defines launch as to set something in motion, to start something, or forcefully throw something. So launching is not a passive act. It is when you take your well-crafted plan and make something happen with it. When you launch, it is the ultimate act of believing in your vision, enough to put it out there. When you launch, you're making some noise to let people know, I'm doing this thing. I'm doing it. I remember December 21st, 1968, when U.S. spacecraft Apollo became the first human crewed spacecraft to reach the moon, orbited, and successfully returned to Earth. Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders lifted off from Cape Kennedy and began a journey that would take them farther away from Earth than anyone had ever gone. They were launching. That's a serious launch. I know you can see it when all that smoke, when it's all going up, they make a lot of noise. That's what it means to launch. Someone watching this broadcast has a book written, but hasn't sent it out for publishing. Others have have business plans, but are still waiting to launch. Still others have ideas that have been crafted, and we need to have, and we need what they have, but they haven't launched. You haven't launched. There is a dream that you have taken the time to put to paper, to strategize, but one step is missing. That's the launch. Today, make one step, just one step towards your launch. Set a firm date to take the chance on yourself and your idea and make it a reality. If you really want to make a launch, put it out on Facebook. Check me out next month on You Fill in the Date. I'm getting ready to take this move, and then take the move. 2 years ago, our sister Gail launched News in Motion, and now has changed her world, not only changed her world, but she's changed our world, and she took us along for the ride. Thank you, Gail Dudley, for having the courage to launch. Who's next? I hope you will believe in yourself and understand your vision is not just about you, but about taking others along for the ride. When you transform your life, you also open up the opportunity to transform others. Throughout this week, I hope you will hear the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. You'll be so glad you did. Enjoy the rest of your day and make some bold moves for your launch. Gail Dudley will be back here tomorrow to celebrate the News in Motion 2nd anniversary. You do not want to miss it. See you tomorrow at 7:25 a.m. Have a great day.